out there? I'm sure he missed contact, but just what was it like seeing him out there?
It's just good getting him back out there. I think for his confidence too, getting him back on the grass, letting him go run and hit people, and people aren't trying to avoid him. It's always good to get back into the flow and the real speed and pace. And so he's been awesome. I mean, Miles is very mature, played a lot of snaps, been very productive. Football comes very naturally to him. I think we talked about this last time. He's cross-trained in multiple positions and can do it within drives when need be. And so him being back out there, I think it's good for the guys around him too. You know, when he's out on the field, I think there's just a calming presence out there that that he's been there, done that, and it's been good for the guys around him too.
Miles Johnson, just what have you seen out of him? I mean, still kind of like a first-year guy. Just where has he made the most progress, and what have you seen out of him since the spring started?
Miles has had one of the best springs probably of the whole group as far as growth from start to finish. You know, it's a new defense for everybody, new terminology, new lingo, and so the whole group, it doesn't matter if you played here last year, started, backed up, whatnot, it's a new verbiage. Some of it's similar to what was done in the past, some's different. So just trying to learn rules and keep it simple. We've thrown a lot at them quickly to try to get them a little bit uncomfortable, to be honest, and have them have a sense of urgency about learning, recalling, and trying to slow the game down as much as possible. But Miles has been consistent in his growth, his effort. You don't ever have to tell him to chase the ball. He very rarely makes the same mistake twice. And that's all you want. You know, we say all the time, don't be a repeat offender. It's okay to make mistakes. Sometimes you have to touch the stove to realize it is hot. Okay, but don't make the same mistake twice. And he's done a really good job of taking that to heart and helping people along. And it's been fun to watch him. And he can run. When he turns it on, it's been fun to watch his speed. And so there's little things that everybody in the room has to get better at, and it's not all one thing. Everybody's a little bit different. But Miles, I'm just proud of his growth, his ability to process what we've done, and every day you can see him getting better at something.
Since he's been here, it's kind of been like a lead by example type guy. Where are you at with wanting him to be more vocal? Has he made strides?
Oh, yeah, I'll tell you what, sometimes you can't keep him quiet in the meeting room. Some of these guys, man, but he has. They all. I'm challenging all of them to be more vocal. There's not playing linebacker is it's a very demanding position. You are the quarterback of the defense. You're involved in the front, and you're involved in coverage. It's not just one or the other. You've got to set fronts at times based off of call. You've also got to be on the same page with defensive backs. You have to be vocal or you cannot play. You've got to be able to talk, run, and hit to play linebacker. And if you can't talk, it's going to be really difficult to play this position. You have to over-communicate, and I've challenged all of those guys to be vocal, Jaden included. And they all made strides, but it's a different age. And I tell them all the time, you can't text each other on the field, right? You can't do it. You can't Snapchat or whatever the heck it is now. You can't do it. You have to talk. You got to be loud. You got to be assertive. When there's 90,000 people in the stands, you've got to find a way to communicate. You got to walk up and be an alpha and get everybody on the same page. So everybody has to grow in that aspect. They have made growth, but that'll be a never-ending process for us.
The kind of like the turnover drills, some of the throws and stuff. What are your expectations for these guys in coverage and making plays? Or
Yeah, I think it's keeping the concept simple enough to teach so there's a lot of overlap. And I think whatever the call is, slowing the game down, what's the formation structure, what's my job, where's my fit, what's my coverage responsibility. And so that's got to be second nature to the guys. And so we're going to ask them to do multiple things. Be hook droppers, be curl flat players, be low three players. We're going to ask them to do a lot. Right, play a little bit of man-to-man, but they've got to pre-snap, be able to process what their job is, see a formation, and get to the spot on the field or cover their man in a way that the defense calls for. So, again, the good thing about this spring has been we have been challenged maybe more than anywhere I've been. It's almost like playing a triple option team just from the aspect of when you're playing a triple team, what you see every day is very difficult and very different. And it's not just your normal 2x2, 3x1, run the ball. or simple concepts. Buster does an incredible job of stressing defenses, giving you a lot of different pictures that you don't normally see, and testing your rules. And so we've had to work through some things as a group in coverage that maybe traditionally you might not have to because you might not be challenged in that way. And so we've been able to work through them, and our guys are starting to get more comfortable. And you can tell the guys that have played football at this level and have that speed and that processing ability. Some of the younger guys are coming along, but they still got a ways to go.
Any kind of good hands guys or guys that have shown some good coverage instincts so far? Or?
Yeah, I mean, I think Miles Graham is instinctual in everything that he does. Jaden Robinson has been in the right spot a lot. Aaron Childs he's gotten so much better from the start to the finish. He just, again, understanding coverage concepts. Because the other thing, all these guys are playing different spots. They're playing, a lot of them are cross-training 3 positions. So it's not just I get a call, this is my job. I got one job at this position, a different job at this position, a different job at this position. So they're putting it all together. But I think understanding how the pieces around you fit help explain why you have to do what you do. So those 3, Miles Johnson has done a really, really good job as well. Those 4 have really been impressive there.
You mentioning when we last spoke to you about with Malik Morris, you may not be as intricate just because he's like learning how to line up, stuff like that. How have you seen him develop as he's gone through his first spring camp?
Yeah, I think it's like anything. The more reps you get, the better you are. It's still a lot, and as a freshman, the speed of the game is so much different, right? The amount of calls, the volume of defense is so much different. So early on, it's you're just drinking through a fire hose. You're just trying to get lined up and figure out where to go. All of a sudden, the ball snapped, and is what it is. But you watch the tape, you learn. That's what I tell the guys every day. Let's take one thing off the tape. You can't correct everything in one day. But what's the one thing that you're going to take off the tape that maybe we messed up that we can get corrected for tomorrow? And let's slowly build. Let's keep stacking days. Malik's done a good job as we progress, just kind of going back to our day one install, the amount of reps we've had. He's made improvements. He's really changed his body for the better. I think he's lost 11 pounds of fat since he's been here. So like Coach Witt and those guys, he's really doing a good job getting some extra work and kind of changed the makeup of himself, right? And it's helped him slow the game down. It's helped him play faster. And so he's made progress.
What do you think of the spring game format? John was just telling us it's kind of unique.
I don't know what it is.
Well, you were there with him before, right?
Yeah, we've had multiple.
Well, he's doing this thing where the defense gets points.
Let's go.
Yeah. Exactly.
All right, here's what I'll tell you.
He said you did this before where you guys get points.
We've done it. I have not seen the scoring system. I just remember I thought we played pretty well, and we got blown out last time. So I got to check the point system and make sure we have a shot. But no, we are going to talk about that today as a staff. So, the biggest thing.
I mean, it just creates some cool content.
It does. When you're in practice, sometimes there's just a flow to practice you get used to. It's like going through your day. You just get used to a routine. And when you make a good play, it's 1st and 10. Well, we line up and it's 1st and 10 again. In a game, it would be 2nd and 14. And that's a big deal, right? And so you get rewarded for productive defensive plays, for getting 3 and outs, for getting takeaways, for getting sacks. And so it does. It allows those guys to understand 3 and outs are a big deal. Takeaways are a big deal, and we get points for that. So I didn't know we were doing it that way, but we are, and so we'll see how it goes. The biggest thing, these guys need to worry about, do your job every snap, right? And that's the thing about playing defense. We don't have the punt card. We can't punt, right? So we've got to understand what our job is, and there's a discipline that needs to be played every snap. You can play a 65-play game and play 63 perfect plays and lose that game 14-10. Because of those 2 plays that you screwed up, right? So our guys have to understand every play has a life of its own, and we got to understand the situations, and we got to go do what we need to do. So the point system's fun, but man, just do your job. Do your job better than you've done it all spring. That's what we're looking for when the coaches are not on the field, when you've got to do it on your own in front of a stadium that's got fans in it.
Scoop coach.
What's that?
A scoop coach.
That's okay. He's going to tell us today, I'm sure.
Spring transfer portal window, there's kind of been this conversation out there that teams may want to be a little more careful in spring camp and limit contact because an injury could be more consequential. Couldn't add someone after spring camp. You see what I'm saying?
I do.
You guys don't plan on doing that.
Absolutely not. Yep.
for you, how important is that mentality that the linebackers go out and simulate playing a real game in the spring game?
You
on
have
Saturday?
to. I think, maybe part of the reason there are some injuries because nobody hits anymore. For the most part, I think you used to be calloused. You used to be used to hitting the ground, getting hit over and over and over, and in 2 days. And the less you do that, then now you get hit and you're not used to it anymore. But for us, we get 15 opportunities to put a helmet on and play, and we don't even get all 15 where we can hit, right? So between the end of the season, whenever that is, to preseason camp, you really have, 13 or so opportunities to go hit somebody, and you better take advantage of them. You got all off season to go play tag and to drop in coverage and do all that. So you don't need to do that now. We need to learn how to tackle and how to get people on the ground, how to get our shoulders on ball carriers and not just make arm tackles. And you only do that by repetition. So you better be practicing that every day, block destruction, tackling, because it's hard to simulate that in the offseason when you don't have pads on. And the teams that tackle at the highest clip win a lot of games. And so that's what this game is played in the box and in space now. This league is just, it might be I formation, running gap scheme, power, running ISO, running whatever, or it might be 10 personnel and they got 2 receivers on the sideline, 2 receivers on the sideline. You got to make a tackle in space. And so the more that you have the opportunity to tackle, I think that it only helps you. And you got all off season to recover. So I just, that's how we feel.
Do you sense, maybe from your position group or just your history as a defensive coordinator, maybe some hunger from guys in spring to be able, when the season gets here, to go out and hit a quarterback, actually?
Yeah, I think that's everywhere. I mean, that's what they wear, that jersey, and there's that comfort level, and that's what we tell the guys. There is a halo around that. Like that guy is absolutely protected. If you lose one of those guys, your team is not as good. And we are practicing. We all play for the Florida Gators. So we practice with each other, not against each other. All right, so we got to go impose your will on the man across from you, but understand we need everybody in this building to help us win a championship. And so we're all working on for the same thing, and it is different. And you see that a lot early on in seasons when maybe a quarterback hasn't been hit or pressured since the bowl game or the last game of the year. All of a sudden somebody gets in his face and they're not veering off anymore. You're getting hit. And early in the season, it's a little bit different. Maybe that's been so. Our guys will be hungry, but right now they need to focus on doing what they do well, executing and do what we ask them to do. Ty he is another one that has made tremendous strides. I think his best practice was just this past one. Not today. It was a previous one. Just his fits. He is very athletic. Same thing. I mean, there's a growing pains that go along with all the installs and all the stuff we're throwing, and so. But he's done a good job of slowing that down. Made some corrections as we've gone, and I guess it was Saturday we saw him pull his trigger and go hit people and be where he's supposed to be. And when he does that, he's got an athletic skill set that's different. He can run and hit. But again, and you guys all know, there's this thing called paralysis by analysis. When you're thinking too much, you play slow. And that was a lot of the guys early on. But Ty is really, the last couple of days, he has shown up in a very positive way, today included. So he's got a unique skill set. He's 227-ish pounds, but he walked in the room, you wouldn't be able to tell. He's so lean, but he does have a thick lower body. He's explosive. I'm excited to see his growth. And it's not going to stop at spring ball. It's only starting right now. So he's got to continue to put the time and effort in, and he's got a very bright future ahead of him.
Aaron Giles said he was familiar with you out of high school. So what was it like reconnecting with him, and then where have you seen his game elevate?
Yeah, that was great. I went up to see him a couple times at Good Counsel, at a previous school that I was, and got to know him a little bit. And then I left that school. He ends up coming down here, and so whenever I came down here, I was looking at the roster, saw his name. I was excited to go see him. But now he's been another one that is, he's very business oriented. He spends more time in this building than a lot of people. I mean, he takes care of his body better than most people do. I mean, he's in here doing extra work in the mornings after practice. He is a very regimented person. Very smart, understands what's going on. Same thing. If he makes a mistake, he very rarely makes the same mistake twice. but he is big, he's strong. Same thing, like his body fat has gotten better, it's gone down, his body fat percentage since he's been working with Rusty, and slowly but surely he's been making, you see growth every day. Today he made a ton of plays on the field, which was fun to watch. So he's somebody, again, I just think he's got a unique skill set and size at 240 pounds that you can use that guy in a lot of different ways. And that's kind of what spring is. Let's try him here, try him there, see what he's good, see what he's comfortable. And then as we move forward in the summer, we'll kind of see, all right, these are his strengths, these are the weaknesses we need to bring up, let's use them in this way.
Worked with the green dot, the in-helmet communication so far?
It's been, I think, right now we've got 5 with a green dot in. I think we got 5 right now. And Coach Brad, he's the one that Coach White talks to him. So that's kind of how we've done it right now. And we'll talk, again, we're just doing this for spring to kind of see how it goes. We'll talk in the summertime about how we want to move forward with it, because we're not going to be able to have all those guys in it as we go, just kind of the pecking order, how, why, is this worth it? Do we maybe need to look at a different position group? But that's just kind of how we've done it so far.
5 linebackers,
Yes.
Back to it for feedback to hear
No.
how they're doing? No?
No, I don't. Not. I mean, I'm near Brad on the sideline, so I can hear what he's saying, and it's the same thing. It's you don't want to give guys too much where you're in their ear, like right before the play starts, just a quick something, and then let them go play. And so, he does a really good job with that. And again, it's just kind of a spring tryout for how we're going to do it, but it will change. I don't know how. I don't know how drastically, but it'll change as we go in the summertime.
Talking too much to them in the green dot, can that lead to that paralysis
I don't
by
know.
analysis?
I think so. If I was a player, I know if somebody's pop, just yapping in my ear, and I'm just trying to get lined up and play. I think it depends on who the player is, too. Some guys need a little bit more help. Some guys, you can make a call, get your cleats set, just give them a quick tip and go. But I think, there's a lot of things it helps with. Maybe they don't see something. Maybe they missed the call because of it was tempo or they were talking to somebody else, and now you can get the front set. You can give them tips and reminders for something. You can tell them to, hey, have the D-line do this or DBs do this. So it's, every play, again, has a life of its own. You can use it in a lot of ways. But I think what Coach does a good job of is not overdoing it and just talking, and then the ball snaps and there's too much going on.
Back to Miles Johnson, what do you need to see from him going into the summer and then into fall to really have the confidence to give him an extended role in this really deep and talented linebacker room?
Yeah, I think it's consistent execution. I think the biggest thing at linebacker, you have to win at the point of attack, right? And so it's our job as coaches to get you in position and teach you how to finish. But you're on the field, man, you got to go do it. You got to win your one-on-one. You got to make a play on the ball. You got to make that tackle in the A-gap. You got to make the play on the perimeter, whatever that is. You got to finish. And so he's done a very good job of that. But it's continuing to grow, and it's continuing to understand what my job and responsibility is, and then finish the plays that you're supposed to make. And that's all these guys. I mean, guys that are productive play. It's not okay to be on the field, and I did my job, and I had 1 tackle and 130 snaps. Yeah, like you've got to. There's got to be a little bit of instinctiveness at that position to make things right, because it's not always going to be a perfect picture. There's going to be stunts. There's going to be things going on. There's going to be adjustments. There's going to be something maybe we haven't seen on film that they throw at us that you got to know your rules well enough to get us adjusted and go play. And so all those guys have to work on finishing, and that's why we talked about tackling. It's so important. You play linebacker, it's not okay to go play two-hand touch. That's not what this game's about. It's about knockback tackling, saving yards. 2nd and 8 is a lot different than 2nd and 5 if you let them drag you for 5 yards. So we're going to tackle as much as we can. We're going to let these guys make plays at the point of attack. Whoever wins at the point of attack consistently is going to be on the field.